Manny, I appreciate the time coming on here for a live stream. Not easy to do, but I appreciate you coming on. How you doing today?
Good, good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Not too bad, not too bad. I'm excited to chat with you, mainly because Atletico Ottawa did some incredible work this postseason or this offseason and getting them ready to hopefully go for a deep postseason run. You're one of the big pieces that were brought in, so I just want to simply ask you what attracted you most to this Atletico Ottawa project, and what ultimately ended up helping you sign for them.
Yeah, I think it was a few things that just made sense that just clicked for us to be here. Obviously, I'm from Toronto, and so is my wife. So just being closer to home was a big one. And then obviously, when you're told the names that they're trying to bring in at the time and now have kind of pulled off, and the project they're trying to build here and backing such a big club, it just takes off a lot of boxes when you're a player. And it just seemed like the right move.
Hey Manny, great to have you on. Great to see you. I'm just kind of curious then, and when did the kind of approach from Ottawa start, and when did you kind of realize that this could be the spot for your next step? You mentioned wanting to be closer to home. Was that kind of something that'd been on your mind with your contract expiring? Just curious, kind of how it all came about.
Yeah, I would say maybe contact started maybe about like in December when it kind of settled down a little bit. But I feel like, well, you guys kind of know, I was looking to either maybe take a chance in another league, another type of environment, and see what opportunities could come about. Or if we were going to be in CPL, since I kind of knew the clubs by now and the markets and everything. Try to be a little bit closer to home. I just got married in December, and just life steps and the way everything's going for us as a couple. It was either kind of either we're gonna find something outside, or we want to be closer to home, be in Ontario, and yeah, it just seemed like the right fit here.
Well, Manny, congrats on the wedding. That's very cool to hear, and I'm just big smile on his face. You can tell he's a happy man. But I'm
Yeah.
just curious to hear a little bit about it too, because there was a lot of rumors going around with MLS, USL, some abroad interest, and like you mentioned, you ended up going with Atletico Ottawa. How close, if you want to talk about it, was any of the other interest? And I guess at the end of the day, um, what was a different maybe option somewhere in the CPL more likely, or do you think it would have been somewhere else abroad?
No, I think CPL for sure. In my mind, and then just how everything played out, it probably was Ottawa the whole time. I don't think there was much competition there on just on everything, the whole package that was kind of presented to me, on the field, off the field, everything. And then yeah, we have, more than anything, we just took our time deciding. It was kind of the first time in my career that I was a free agent, and with possibilities. The last time was when I went to Pacific and COVID happened, and it kind of shut down a lot of doors, a lot of international doors, and trying to get out of the league or trying to try something. So it was kind of the first time I was, 28 years old, free agent, had done well the last couple of seasons. So it was just more about exploring what kind of possibilities were out there. But again, when everything was on the table and we had our options there, it was an easy choice to be here.
We have a lot of questions in the chat from the listeners, so we'll get to those. But we've got a few more for you before you do. Kind of curious, how are you going to look back on your time in Pacific? You end up winning a title there. You end up really getting to have a couple great seasons. And conversely, now that you're at Ottawa, what are some things you're looking to bring from Pacific that you feel can help this team and in terms of your experience and whatnot?
Yeah, there's so much to take away from Pacific, as a player, as a human, on the personal side, how much I've grown as a man, and then on the field, obviously, like you said, I went there to win. We were, able to do that my first year, and then the next 2 years, maybe some ups and downs, but I think all in all, a lot of learning points. I was able to lead more out there, and kind of take on that leadership role. And a lot of those points I bring over here as well. I'm going to try my best help in any way possible. I think I kind of show that in the way I play. I don't mind if I have to do some of the dirty work, or if I have to go more up front, or whatever it may be that the team needs. I think that's kind of what I've learned over the last few years playing. And I just hope to help the team the most I can.
So Manny, we have a question coming from the chat. It's from Benedict over from the CPL guys, and I mean he's putting you right on the spot here. So I mean, not the kindest question you're gonna get, but it's a tricky one. So who will you be cheering for in the Copa America opener, Argentina or Canada?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Just not a fair question, but it came from Benedict.
Yeah,
Remember that.
I mean, honestly, I might go for Canada because I think Argentina could still win it with losing that game. So
good answer.
No, that's gonna be an amazing game to watch for my whole family for sure.
And I guess I'm just gonna pick up on that a little bit because I'm fascinated by playing for Atletico Ottawa, obviously with the connection to Atletico Madrid. You had a very special welcoming video from Correa, which I thought was really, really cool, really special. Obviously, he's from Argentina. You know, you were born there as well. What did that mean to you? Because when I remember seeing that, I remember that's a really cool touch by a massive club, obviously like Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, I know, it was amazing. It was amazing to see. We were in Mexico, and as soon as I saw it, it was, I got goosebumps because a year and a half before I saw them lift the World Cup, and it was like a childhood dream to me to see Argentina finally do it, and what it meant to our country. And I was in Argentina when the celebration was going on, so it was just surreal to see him kind of congratulate me and welcome me into the family. And then obviously all my family for Argentina, my parents, my uncles, everyone was going nuts. It was, it was a good feeling.
Manny, another listener question here. It's kind of a theme we already had, so we can kind of build off it. It's from Bilico Gaming here. He's asking about your expectations for this year. And so, of course, you guys made a lot of big signings. What's the goals in the league, if you don't mind sharing? Like, is it title or bust? Is it double or bust? And the fun one is, how excited are you guys for the Canadian Championship? Because it feels like some of the talent on board, you guys could really have some fun with the new different format this year.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't say title or bust or anything like that. I think we have big shoes to fill for sure. We have big expectations to fill. I think from a club standpoint, they've done everything possible to set us up for success. So I think we definitely need to embrace that a little bit and take on that bit of pressure and try to live up to it. But I do think kind of it's the cliche, but I do think it's one game at a time. The season is very long. Just because you don't win the first few games doesn't mean you can't be at the top of the table after. I've lived it with Pacific where, 10, 15 games into the season, we were flying high, and then all of a sudden, things come crashing down a little bit. So I think it's one game at a time. Right now, our mindset is on York. In 3 games time, it'll be on the Canadian Championship. And then, we'll just keep on growing game week by game week.
Yeah, it's not as easy as it may look by grabbing these, these big names and putting them on a stacked roster. There's a lot that goes into making these pieces work. So, I mean, Armin's naturally putting some pressure on here, saying, what name do you like more? SuperClub, CPL, Avengers, Galacticos, Ottawa. You can answer that, but I do want to elaborate a little bit more and just kind of talk to you about what it is going to be like playing with a very deep roster. Because I would imagine within the camp, there's going to be a lot of competitions for different spots and trying to get the best out of these players. So it should lead, hopefully, for some pretty interesting battles within the squad.
Yeah, I mean, on Armin's point, I think he was the one who named Jovinko Atomic Ant. So if one of these stick as much as that one, that would be amazing. But yeah, no, it's definitely difficult. I would not want to be in the coach's decisions, having to pick, the 11 for that game. But it's definitely something that it creates more competition in between the team. It creates, it makes us kind of train better and try to be better day in, day out. So I think, in the long run, it's going to benefit us all. And at the end of the day, it's just us adapting to each other. And maybe some of us have to sacrifice some things that we were used to doing in our previous clubs just for the benefit of the team and the good of the team. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I think we have everything we need to succeed this year.
I guess just kind of following up on that, how's preseason been in terms of that competition? Have you noticed it maybe pushing you guys, and what has it been like to see that addition of experience, right? Because you and yourself, you come in, you've won a title before. Of course, Ali Bassett there, he's won a title before. There's a lot of experience, guys like Amir. What's it kind of been like to mesh those guys in? Have you found it's really made for an intense preseason?
Definitely. I mean, it's honestly been a great preseason. Like I said, there's been a lot of competition. I don't think anyone on the team, maybe a handful, not even, but I don't think anyone is relaxed right now thinking, oh, I'm starting this first game of the season, or I'm going to be a starter this year, which I think is a great thing to have, because it just creates competition. It creates us pushing each other more every single day. Even the young guys, you have guys like Gabi or Tier and stuff who maybe they're younger, but they're going to play. The way they're pushing, the way they're training, it's just making us all better. So yeah, it's honestly great to have so much competition in a team.
We got a listener question here, which I find fascinating, from Nicholas, and he's basically asking about the language barrier within the dressing room. What's the most spoken language? Is it Spanish, French, English? Is there like maybe a group that gets instructions in Spanish versus is English? I'm not really sure, but what's it like?
There's a mix of everything. There's definitely a lot of French. I can definitely tell I'm more in the capital now, and and I'm in Ottawa. But yeah, there's the mix of everything. The coaches, when they speak to the team, it's all in English. I think the few guys, maybe Sapa or Ruben, but they've been practicing on their English, and it's great so far. They pick up on everything. But yeah, there's obviously, some of us, I can speak Spanish and English. There's other guys. Ruben speaks all three: it's French, English, and Spanish. So there's a lot of guys who kind of link it all together. And yeah, it's honestly not a big deal.
And another fun one from Nicholas, who's been bringing some great questions. First of all, I guess, Manny, are you a big mate guy? Of course, that's all the rage in Argentina. You see Messi all the time, all the guys. And if so, what's your technique? What's your go-to brand? Are we going to see you walk into a few games with a cup of mate in hand this year?
Yeah, I always have my mate on me. I don't usually bring it to game day. I just, I leave it at home. I'm not one for just carrying it for the camera and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, on trips and away games and things like that, I always have it around. And then the herbs that I find right now are here in Ottawa. The ones that I found were in Walmart, and it's Pipore, the brand. I mean, it's all right. I like other brands a little bit more. I just have to find where to get them here.
Now, I don't know much.
If anyone has any recommendations, let me know.
I can't say I've ever had it before, but I have seen a bunch of TikTok videos, and I don't know if it's just because I like watching them, but I just see people make them like slowly, and it looks like a very elegant drink. So maybe I'll have to.
Yeah, it's just a sophisticated tea almost.
Sophisticated tea, right? Elegant man, I like that. But all right, Manny, you've been in the league now for 5 years. I just want to hear a little bit about you talking about the growth and what you've witnessed playing now in 3 different clubs.
Yeah, I mean, from day one, I don't think anyone would have said we would be here with how much better. The main thing for me, the main thing I see is how much, player standpoint it's growing, and how much better the game quality has been, and just the level of the players coming into the league. It's grown tremendously. I think it was about time, honestly, that we had our own league. The amount of immigrants we have in Canada, and how much we all are starting to breathe and live soccer like everywhere else in the world. It's just bound to happen, and it just keeps on growing. So it's honestly great to see. Hopefully we get, like the commissioner had said, a couple more teams involved, and we can keep on going that way. And that would be the best thing for everyone.
Nearing the end of our questions here, and Manny, thanks again for the time. But my last one, at least for me, before we finish off with any other listener questions, how excited are you to play in front of the Atletico Ottawa fans? Because we've seen it over the last year. Their crowds seem to get better every week. The supporter section, it's always rowdy. There's always people with their shirts off. There's dinosaurs flying around. It's always a good time in there. How excited are you just to be a part of that and maybe score your first goal and get to celebrate with them?
Yeah, it's something we're all looking forward to, all the new guys. There's a lot of us that I think our season ticket holder day the other night, where we almost had about 400 people out there. I think that was a big eye opening for all of us with how big of a fan base we have. So we're all looking forward to this first home game and all the support that I've seen from the outside, and hopefully now we can keep on receiving and all these people showing up every single game. It's been great to see the Ottawa scene and the soccer scene grow here, and hopefully it just keeps on doing that.
So, Manny, my last question. I mean, Ben asked a little bit about the Copa America and obviously Canada playing Argentina, but I just want to get your overall thoughts because obviously, you're a big Argentina fan as well. The Copa America, I imagine, means a lot to you, especially watching it over the years. This is Canada's first ever time that they qualified for this tournament. Just maybe tell me a little bit about what it means to watch Canada in this tournament, or what it's going to mean to watch them, and what are your expectations for Canada?
I honestly think Canada might be a little bit of a dark horse in this one because I don't know. Growing up watching South American football, it's very physical, very kind of back and forth, and just kind of teams just a bit unorthodox football in a way. And I think that kind of fits Canada's game plan perfectly. We have so much speed and power going forward that they could potentially, make some upsets in the tournament. For South American, Copa America is everything. Just like if you ask a European person, the Euro Cup, it's bragging rights for your continent and what it means to host that cup. Argentina, obviously, a few years ago they won it, and then they ended up going to win the World Cup. So I think it's going to be a great tournament. And honestly, being in the States and stuff, it's going to be amazing to see all the fans that are always present from Latin America out there.
All right, we have our final question for you. It is going to be a listener question. It's a hypothetical one. So I guess it's imagining you guys qualify for the CONCACAF Champions Cup and you get a draw with Ottawa against Inter Miami. What move will you be using to get past Messi, if you have the opportunity to do so?
I honestly don't think you need to do many moves to get past. I think it's the other way around. How am I stopping him? No, I honestly don't. I would be in awe if we were to ever play against them. He's been my childhood hero ever since I can remember, and a great example for us all footballers. So it would definitely be a privilege.
Manny, I am going to sneak in one final question. I've interviewed you a couple times before, and I don't remember if I asked you, but you wear number 34. I feel like you might have mentioned it, but what's the background story behind why you wear number 34? Because like you mentioned, number 10 is Messi. He's your idol. He obviously went with a different route. So what's the story behind that?
Yeah, it was a mix of things. It was when I was with TFC, and I started getting called up to the reserve team. At the time, there was the reserve league in MLS. It wasn't MLS Next Pro, any of these things. And it was just the number I was kind of given. It was between that. I think it was like 33 or 35. And at the time, a few years before, Iniesta had debuted with 34 in Barcelona. And it was just a number that kind of stood out to me. I started wearing it. And then when I signed first team, I was like, I might as well keep it. I honestly didn't have many options to pick from. I was one of the young guys. They didn't really give me many options. And I just kind of stuck with it and have wore it ever since.
Awesome. All right, Manny, that is all the time for today. I appreciate you meeting with us, and best of luck this season.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, guys.